So my next guest is a ball of energy, a ball of fire. I mean, he's a great guy. You've seen him on YouTube. You've seen his deals all over the place. Mr. Engelo Rumora, real estate investor extraordinaire with Ohio Cash Flow. Thanks for taking your time out on radio for small business.
Eugene, bloody awesome intro, mate. Thanks for having me.
Now, I got to ask, because you know people are going to ask right off the bat, that is a great accent. Where are you from?
Dude, you know what? I spend 2 hours a day talking to people about where I'm from. I just started telling them that I'm from North Carolina, to be honest with you. But jokes aside, mate, I'm from Australia, from Sydney, Australia. My parents are from Europe, and yeah, mate, I haven't been home in over 2.5 years now. Just busy days here, mate. Busy days. You know, growing a company. I've got 4 business ventures that I've got going on at the moment.
Wow.
So looking forward to going back one day, mate, just to relax a little bit.
That's pretty awesome. Tell us a little bit about your business background and some of the things that you're working on right now.
Pretty much, you know, I quit school when I was 14, so I've got no formal education whatsoever. I played professional soccer at the age of 18, believe it or not. It was just it was a lifetime dream of mine, and a dream come true when I achieved that. And you know, unfortunately, things didn't work out there the way I planned them to. So I moved back to Australia from Hong Kong. That's where I played soccer professionally, and I had to get a job because I had no income. I spent all of the money that I earned playing soccer, and the only job that I could get without any formal education was you know, working on construction sites as a labourer. So I slaved away there for a good, 2 or 3 years. And the life-changing moment to me, mate, came when I was given a book by a good friend, which was Rich Dad, Poor Dad by Robert Kiyosaki. I'm sure that many of you listeners know that book.
Oh, yeah.
And, mate, read that book, and it just brainwashed me, dude. It brainwashed me. You know, I started going to seminars, expos, conventions. I mean, talking to people, asking questions. And I found myself a job. Working with a big real estate entrepreneur in Australia. He's got a $100 million business right now. And I was kind of his apprentice, right? So he taught me everything that I know today about real estate. He pretty much gave me the foundation of me being a real estate entrepreneur.
Wow.
And then, one thing led to another, mate. And I kind of combined my construction knowledge that I gained through laboring, and I combined the knowledge that he gave me working for him as an apprentice for a couple of years. And here we are today. Flipping houses. You know what I mean? So I'm here in the US, mate. I've been involved in over 300 deals in the last 4 years. And, mate, just living the dream, baby. Love it.
Wow. That's pretty awesome. That's an amazing story. And what's even more amazing is the fact that you've been involved in 300 deals over 4 years. Now, many of our listeners, they are actually interested in doing real deals themselves, building businesses or growing businesses. What type of mentality did you have to have in order to be seemingly all in?
Mate, look, great question. You have to have the never give up mentality. Business, real estate, life in general is full of ups and downs, mate. You will lose money and you will fail, but you can't let it get to you. You always have to pick yourself back up and keep moving forward. All right, there's a saying that I love. If you can't run, walk. If you can't walk, crawl. But whatever you do, just keep moving forward. So, mate, look, that's probably the best advice that I could give everyone. I mean, without risk, there is no reward. Okay, another saying, risk is your best friend, fear is your worst enemy. At the end of the day, mate, we all end up in the same place, and that is 6 feet underground. The biggest regret that people have on their dying bed is not taking more risk. I mean, this is a proven statistic. They did this research while asking, old folks at retiring homes, and everyone said, I wish I took more risk. So, mate, whoever's listening, take more risk. Don't be afraid to fail. Fail, learn from the experience, keep moving forward, and commit to the numbers, mate. This is what I keep telling everyone and anyone that wants to join, becoming a real estate entrepreneur, that wants to start up their own business. You have to commit to the numbers. Real estate and entrepreneurism is a numbers game. The more emails you send, the more phone calls you make, the more seminars, expos, and conventions you go to. Your network equals your net worth, mate. You have to commit to the numbers. I mean, the magic happens when you commit to those numbers and you network with people. Doors start to open. You start to learn more. You start to grow more. You become a better person for talking to all of these other people. So commit to the numbers, guys. Do not be afraid to fail and take chances. Risk.
Wow. Just in case you're just tuning in, we're talking to Engelo Rumora, seasoned real estate investor and flipper right here on Radio for Small Business. Engelo, in the statement you just made, you said something that scares a lot of people who are not entrepreneur-minded. You told them, hey, don't be afraid to take risk. How do you ease the fear for someone who will hear that and say, oh, no, I don't want to risk my 401k or my income?
Yeah. Well, mate, look, great question. And what I always advise everyone is to start off small. I mean, don't go all in. Don't go spending $500,000 or $1 million, into one particular transaction. You lower your risk by educating yourself on what it is that you're doing. So make sure that you educate yourself on whatever it is that you're doing, and by being educated, you will lower your risk. Now, the other way to lower your risk is by using less money, right? For example, here in the Midwest, mate, we've got a ton of markets: Ohio, Michigan, Indianapolis, Kansas, Missouri. I mean, you can find properties in decent, blue-collar, working-class areas for 20, 30, 40 grand. I mean, start off small, and you can always scale it and build it from there. If you lose money on the first few deals, it's not the end of the world. You haven't lost your entire savings. That's how you can minimize your risk, mate. I mean, as I said, worst case scenario, you will lose money. So don't think you will lose money. But the worst case scenario, you lose money. If you start off small, you will not lose your entire savings, and then you can just reassess, learn from the experience, and move forward in a better light. Mate, when I first started, I lost hundreds of thousands of dollars. And I can tell you what, mate, that was my Harvard in real estate, Eugene. That's what got me to where I am today, making those mistakes, getting screwed over by, unloyal people and untrustworthy people. And I learned my lesson. I've grown from that experience, and, here we are today. I mean, I've got $1 million company, mate.
Let's talk about the fact that you're from Australia and you're in the United States of America. Many people, when they're looking at starting a business, moving across town is a no-no for them. What type of mentality? Tell us about how your mentality when it comes to going where you need to go to do what you need to do.
I speak to a ton of investors on a daily basis, mate, from all around the world, and everyone asks me, what do you think of this deal? What do you think of that area? What do you think of this city? And I say, guys, you are getting it completely wrong. Every single time you lose money, and every single time I lost money, wasn't because the deal didn't make sense, wasn't because the city wasn't growing, wasn't because the stats and demographics, it was because of the people. Okay, it was the people on the ground that were not loyal, they were not honest, they were greedy, and that's why I lost money. So I always tell everyone, if you're looking at investing out of state or out of country, make sure that you establish trust and relationships with the people on the ground. Those people need to be your heart and soul, eyes and ears, and they always have to have your best interest at heart. They can't just look for a quick profit. They have to look for delayed gratification, and they want to be willing to work with you for the next 5, 10, or 15 years. Forget about the stats, guys. Forget about the demographics. You have to establish trust and relationships with the key people. Once you have established that trust and relationships, then you can look at the numbers. Okay?
Wow.
I've got a little saying, Eugene. Check this out, mate. If you buy the best house in the best street in the best area with the best capital growth prediction, but if your property manager is a cheat and incompetent, you're going to lose money because he's going to steal your rent. So it comes down to the people, guys. Focus on the people. People first. All righty?
That's a big thing, especially in relationships. You said a couple things right there about some people will try to cheat you, try to steal your money. I've actually got a life motto. I don't do business with people who need money. And I know that sounds kind of weird, right? But, if they're willing to get in there and work for, maybe months or years at a time, and they've got the ability to take care of themselves while we do the right deal, they'll make the best decisions for the business. Do you mind, Engelo, telling us about one instance where you may have learned something from a situation like that?
I guess I just jumped in too soon, mate. You know what I mean? I got mesmerized. When I first invested in U.S. real estate, it was in upper state New York, and I jumped in too soon. I got mesmerized and wowed by the paper figures, but reality was something else. And, what I can suggest that everyone does is one key question, mate. Before you enter into any relationship and before you do business with anyone, as you touched on, Eugene, as that money factor, what I've found is everyone is chasing the dollar. So what you have to say is, look, would you be willing to spend 6 to 12 months of networking with me and building a relationship with me and educating me on who you are and what you do and your market before we do any business, before we do any transactions? And that is how you will eliminate 99.9% of the shady operators. Because as I mentioned earlier, everyone's looking for a quick profit. Everyone is chasing the dollar. So as soon as you mention a 6 to 12 month time frame, most people that are non-genuine, they will disappear. They will stop responding to your emails. You won't be able to get them on the phone. So, be patient, okay? Make sure that you establish the trust and relationship with the people first. Do not jump in. Don't get mesmerized by the figures on paper, because reality is a different world. And pop that question. Are you willing to wait 6 to 12 months before we do business? And then whoever is willing to wait that long, you're onto something. They are the real deal. They are there to stay. They're not a one-show pony. And, they genuinely have your best interest at heart, and they want to grow with you over the long term.
Tell us how Ohio Cashflow, your company, tell us how you guys find deals, source deals, or find partners.
What we do, mate, is we buy rundown distressed properties. We fix them up to a great standard. I've got an in-house property management company that gets them tenanted, and then we work with investors from all around the world, right? East Coast, West Coast, UK, Canada, Australia, you name it. We predominantly work with investors that are in, expensive real estate markets, and they want to get a good return on investment, and that's what we can offer them. A complete hands-off experience where they get a 13 to 15% gross cap rate. Mate, how we find deals, Eugene, check your pockets. Is there a deal in there? Leave no stone unturned, mate. That's my philosophy. Leave no stone unturned. We send out 3,000 yellow letters a week. I stalk Craigslist daily. We post on Craigslist daily. I network with bird dogs. I network with wholesalers. You name it, I do it. I ask grandma at Walmart if she knows if anyone's selling. That's what it takes. If you make your whole life revolve around finding a deal and making money in real estate, you will make money in real estate. Once again, man, I have to backtrack. Focus on the numbers. It comes down to the numbers. How many hours are you willing to put in every day? How many emails are you willing to send? Phone calls, meetings, seminars, expos, conventions, offers. Guys, pump the numbers, man. Pump the numbers, please.
Awesome, man. I almost wish we didn't have to wrap this up, but Engelo Rumora of Ohio Cashflow, I appreciate your time, dude. Thank you so much for taking time out on Radio for Small Business. One last tip that you may have for the listeners, and then we'll let you go.
Make a passion an obsession, and you will never work a day in your life.
Awesome. Engelo Rumora, OhioCashflow.com. Check them out. Engelo, thanks for taking your time.
Gene, thanks for having me, mate.